I'm going because I don't know how COVID's going to be. I love Nevada. I would love nothing but to go there.
Sounds nice.
Just the mere facts that I'd like to punch some of these people, not the wrestlers, but some of these guys that do go to the Cauliflower Club. I'd like to punch them right in the face.
Yeah.
I got one guy I'm just thinking about right now.
Yeah.
If he shows up there.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, if COVID settles down, we may go. I'll be honest with you, I'd like to go. I mean, who's that run by Killer B, right? B. Brian Blair.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's all right.
Been on the show.
Before we get to head-to-head, a source told WrestlingNews.com that Vince McMahon was upset that WrestleMania plans for Edge vs. Roman Reigns and Miz's tag team match against Bad Bunny was leaked. As a result, both that site and Ringside News heard that the new edict that the creative teams have to check with McMahon or Bruce Pritchard before telling talent what's planned for them. Thoughts?
I don't know how stuff gets leaked out half the time anyway, and how Vince doesn't clamp it down right away. I'm amazed that anything could get out of his creative rooms.
Well, it's probably a fact that, you know what, you're friends with somebody, they're in the organization,
blah, blah, blah.
they call their high school buddy, go, yeah.
But I just don't know how the hell Vince has not made that crystal clear to everybody who's in creative. Shut up! Don't tell your wife!
Wasn't that the
Don't tell your sister!
Isn't that the best?
Don't even tell yourself when you're by yourself in the bathroom looking in the mirror! Am I clear? Because it's amazing that this stuff gets out. How does Dave Meltzer allegedly find out half the shit he finds out? Someone in WWF has got a big mouth. Jackie Gleason.
Very good.
And that's it. That's my take.
That's your take.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm tired now. Go on.
That's what ruins WrestleMania. That's what ruins SummerSlam, right? Because you always get Royal Rumble.
Dude, I miss the days where we would just get the wrestling magazines, and even then we were grateful to get any news, and even then the magazines were like a month behind.
Yeah, so you didn't hear anything new.
Yeah.
But you thought you did.
But it was exciting not knowing what was coming, instead of, I read it, and you know what's going to happen? He's going to hit him with a coconut.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine?
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine if the Snooker Piper moment was ruined? I mean... people.
All right, this week's head-to-head is the incredible Charlotte Flair versus the fabulous Moolah.
Wow.
As always, Jimmy will explain to fans that have not seen this segment what's behind and how the decision is made. Jimmy, go ahead and hit him with the rules, brother.
All right, folks. We break this down into 5 categories. It's usually an old-school wrestler versus a new-school wrestler, as it is in this case. Category number 1 is mic skills. Basically, are you a Rock? Are you a Stone Cold Steve Austin? Or are you just, are you good at it? Or do you absolutely stink when you are handed a chance to say something to the audience? Number 2 is mat skills. That should be pretty obvious. The Kurt Angles, the Bob Backlunds of the world. I always say Bret Hart, as I should. The Kenny Omegas. Oh, God, I knew that would get somebody sick. Jim Cornette is throwing shit at the screen right now.
That's
I don't blame him.
I think I'm throwing a shit at the screen.
I don't blame him. Yeah, but he's a great mat wrestler. Say what you will. So mat skills is the second category. Number 3 is the overall influence on the industry. Talking about, obviously, are you a pioneer? Did you do something that, the industry has felt the effects of, over time? This may be tougher on some of the new school guys, but, there are plenty of newer school guys who've done tons of stuff, like Jericho giving Bruno a run for his money last week.
Absolutely, that was a close one.
Yeah, it was a close one. Okay, so overall influence on the industry is number 3. Number 4 category on head-to-head is the back of the baseball card, my personal favorite. That's the championship you have accumulated in your career, and all your Money in the Banks or Royal Rumbles or whatever the heck it is, that you've gotten done inside that ring. Number 5, the it factor. That should also be pretty self-explanatory. Like the first time you took a look at Hulk Hogan, you kind of knew you were looking at somebody who has it.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Those are the 5 categories.
So, Jimmy, let's introduce the first contestant, the fabulous Moolah.
This is rough, so I'm not going to sit here and try to read all of this because there's just so much about this unbelievable legend when it comes to women's wrestling. Born Mary Lillian Ellison way back in 1923. She passed on in 2007. She lived a long, long life. Better known as, of course, the fabulous Moolah. Now, let's just go to the basics about fabulous Moolah because, again, there's just too much to talk about here. I will leave it at this. Here's your basic key points. She wins the World Championship in 1956 for women and holds it for 28 years. Even Matty Ice is going, wow. I could see him over there. 28 years. Matt, are you even 28 years old?
I am way below.
Yeah! She holds the title from 1956 to 1984. Absolutely ridiculous, okay?
802 Blue says there's a picture of Moolah up right now. He's like, she's hot.
I love this guy. I love it. That's hilarious.
Think Moolah had wet ass pussy?
Oh, come on, man. I'm trying to read a respectful...
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know.
Sorry.
She probably bossed around a lot.
Wait a minute.
Wet-ass pussy, but that's a whole...
We're going to make a song called DAP, Dry Ass Pussy.
And that makes me dapper. Stop after the dap.
All right, go ahead. I didn't mean
Oh,
to
my
interrupt.
God.
I
That's
apologize.
horrible, man. Oh, that's just horrible. Okay, so we've gotten to the main point was the fact that she held the belt for 28 years. But then, of course, towards the end of her... not just her career, but her life, she was still immensely contributing to Vince McMahon. She had the awesome program with Cyndi Lauper, as you know, with Wendy Richter, and that was really towards the end of her career, but she's not done then. During the Attitude Era, she teams up with Mae Young. I mean, they gave us some great hilarity. I mean, my God, look, if you're going to be funny, that was some great stuff.
Well,
so Fabulous Moolah
can I go back?
is
You
for
mentioned
like the first 40 years of Vince's company. It's just like, wow.
You mentioned Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter.
Sure.
My feeling, again, you know, no matter how you feel about women's wrestling,
Yeah.
I want to make a few things clear.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter, of course Piper, Hogan.
The combination, if it wasn't for the combination of Hogan, Piper, Mr.
But-
T, Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter,
I was there.
Moolah's role.
That first match
Right.
changed the face of wrestling as we know it. Now, for the older fan of the wrestling experts, I put in quotes that I can't stand, probably are angry over that fact. But the fact of the matter is that it brought wrestling. If it wasn't for that, you don't have the Attitude Era. You don't have any of this. Wrestling it stays what it was back in the late 70s, early 80s.
The great leap to wrestling being a household thing where it would get football ratings was the fact that Vince connected pro wrestling to rock. And that's Cyndi.
That's right.
That's MTV.
But
That was
that doesn't
how-
go any further unless Cyndi could hook her train to Richter.
Right.
And we needed the enemy of Richter. and who
Without
do they go
the
to?
Joker?
Moolah.
The Joker was Moolah.
Thank you.
As Hogan's Joker was Piper.
Absolutely.
You know, so it was just absolute. Her contributions to women's wrestling are actually immeasurable. It would be fair to say she's the San Martino of female women as far as the history of the sport for women in wrestling.
But it's also
she's
it's
the
also
fabulous Moolah.
It's also fair to talk about the dark side of Moolah,
Which came out later, of
Which
course.
came out later, who took advantage
Of course.
of a lot of wrestlers. Some say she didn't. Some say she was allowing them an
again-
opportunity and took a piece of that opportunity.
Again, where there's smoke, there's fire. Somewhere in the middle is probably the truth, and I think that there's probably plenty of things, unfortunately, about Moolah that are not so great.
Well, Farrell, as
Unfortunately.
usual,
Yeah.
you did a great job with her. Now let's
It's
talk
difficult.
about Charlotte Flair.
It's very difficult. Okay, let's move on to who I feel is the greatest women's wrestler in the world today. Ashley Elizabeth Flair, born back in 1986. What a year we were having in 1986.
Absolutely.
Of course, the great professional wrestler that has been working for Vince for several years now at this point. What does this say here? Okay, she started training with them going back in 2012. So we're talking almost 10 years now working with the WWE.
By the way, I don't want to interrupt on Charlotte, but
Yeah.
there was a good point made. Russell Campbell says, and he's right,
Go ahead.
Wendy Richter
Yeah.
and Moolah
Yeah.
were involved in the first original Screwjob. Talk about
Yes.
changing wrestling history there
Yeah,
too, right?
Spider Lady.
Absolutely.
Spider Lady. Great job, Ross. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. What has Moolah not done?
What about says Moolah kept her pimp hand strong?
All
right, back to Charlotte. Go ahead.
Hose up in this house.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is terrible. That song is awful. Why is it stuck
Not
in my
according
head?
to Matty Ice, dude.
You
can bop to
it's
it.
Bopping.
It's
Look,
bopping.
I'm going to take his word for it. He's our producer. He's our guy. If he says so, I'm gonna have to go.
I love music, but
I'm not going to run out and buy it.
I ain't
but,
listening
you know,
to that, bro.
No, I'm not listening to that either. Okay, getting back to Charlotte. We are talking multiple times women's championship. Oh, my God. We're talking like 9 times already? She's won the Raw's title 4 times. She's won the SmackDown title 5 times. NXT women's title. Wow. She's overall a 12-time women's champion already in her career, over almost a decade now since she's come up. Winning, she's also won the women's tag team championship. What hasn't she won? You know, Charlotte Flair is obviously magical on the mic. I feel that she's been the face for women's wrestling for many years already at this point. She has been like a tornado from the moment she came in. She has been great. And you know what? All those people are yelling and screaming about her booking. You guys couldn't be more wrong because she's not tarnished. When you write someone correctly for years, they are not tarnished. And they stay respectable. That's why Macho Man, that's why, you know, the greats are not
people may get
taken
upset
off
about
course
this.
like
I
this.
said it to you a couple of times on
She
occasion.
deserves to have this resume.
I've said this to you a couple of times on occasion.
Yeah.
I know this will flip out wrestling fans,
What?
but I almost think that she is better than her father. Technically,
I'm not going there.
I'm not going to say she's better with mic skills than
I
her
think
father.
that she's
but
a chip
technically,
off the old block, and that's the respect I give her, and that's a huge tip of the cap to her.
It is.
But I will not compare her to her father.
All right, so let's hit it.
that I
Mic
won't.
skills. Who's got it? Moolah or Preach Jimmy, says Russell Campbell.
There you go. There we go. Preach on. My skills.
Moolah or Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Not even close.
Not even close.
But you know what? Well, I think 802, I thought I saw a comment from him. Mm-hmm. He said he could listen to Moolah all day.
It wasn't like Moolah was terrible at talking, but she's not Charlotte. Period. Charlotte Flair has her father's gift of gab.
I'm going with you on mic skills there.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Matt skills. Moolah or Charlotte?
Charlotte. Not even close.
So this is a blowout already.
But we've had this happen before.
I know.
Be careful.
Overall influence on the industry.
Moolah. Moolah.
Why?
Dude, all the decades paving the way. We don't even have a
Isn't that
WrestleMania,
unfair?
much less women main eventing eventually.
Right.
Without fabulous Moolah. That's it. The impact on the business. Do you realize how many generations came after her that have wanted to be like her?
And we just said it.
Yeah.
If not for her card with Richter,
Yeah.
this may never even, what we know today may never even be the case.
My favorite part about this contest is we've kept it responsible. Let's stay responsible here.
Absolutely.
And it's not even close. The impact on the business is Moolah's. Go on.
What About says that Charlotte's got a better moveset than her father, but Rick was one of the best characters. It's a great
Agreed.
point.
Agreed. But don't forget, Rick in his day was considered a machine.
Shit,
Rick was
maybe
the
we should have did
60-minute
Charlotte versus. We maybe should have did Charlotte
down the
versus
road.
Rick.
But Rick was the 60-minute machine. Understand that.
Yeah.
Rick
but I
Flair
think
was a
Charlotte
machine.
could go 60 minutes. With
I
no
think
problem.
she could, but I don't think as many times a year as her father did.
You know, it's funny when I watch Charlotte.
I don't think anybody could do the schedule that her father did.
What-
You know, one year he didn't even take one day off. Are you aware of that?
When
During the 80s, he didn't take
wait a
one
minute.
day off.
When I
Not
watch
one.
Charlotte wrestle,
Woo!
you can see the command that she has
She's
in
amazing.
the ring.
She's a general.
She's almost flawless.
She's like her father. There's
and
nothing
today,
wrong with
where the
saying
camera
that.
angles are much tighter,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
She's amazing.
Back of the baseball card. So right now it's 2-1. Back of the baseball card.
Moolah. You don't hold the title for 28 years. I'm going back to the San Martino analogy. Sorry. She held the title for 28
right.
years.
Listen.
I know it's a different era, blah, 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 but come on. Charlotte's reigns are impressive, and she's had a lot, but sometimes the belt gets passed around like hot potatoes today. You can't compare it to a 28-year reign. Our producer's not even that old.
By the way, Mike Gonzalez says that David Flair is better than Charlotte.
Oh, my God, I love it. David Flair. You know, he really was underappreciated. He should have...
shut up. Stop.
You know,
Stop
I remember his program with Crowbar.
All right.
It was the greatest.
We're at 2-2.
Crowbar.
We're at 2-2.
Yeah.
It factor.
It factor. Well, folks, this is where... the winner of this contest... Should I announce it?
Announce it right now. It's fine.
The winner of this contest is Charlotte Flair.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hope the fans agree.
Because when you look at Charlotte on camera, she's it factor. She's absolutely it factor. Moolah had it factor in her day too, but I don't think to the degree that Charlotte has. And I do think that by the time Charlotte is finished, when she's all finished and it's all said and done with her career, I do believe she will supplant the great, fabulous Moolah as the greatest women's wrestler of all time if she hasn't already.
Well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and tell the fans out there what we've got upcoming tomorrow and Saturday.
David Flair, woo. And Nitro's Garage.